ここはニュージーランドのトゥトゥカカという要するにニュージーランドらしい感じの出た地名のところに来てるわけですが、しかもここは一人の方の家の中なんですね。そこへ向かうこの入り口というかイントロダクションなんです。ウェイド・ドークさんというですね大変素晴らしい方です。たくさんの本ももちろん書いておられますが、とりわけ私が彼に感銘を受けたのはその陸の生態系と海の生態系と両方と詳しく彼は研究して本もこう書いてきたわけですが、ついにソロモンアイランドってところの非常にプリミティブな生活にぶつかって、この生活に見本があるんだということで自分の全生活を変えてしまって、今の今日のこの自然の中に彼なりの方法で過ごす生活を築いた人なんです。私もですねかつてこんな生活しようかなと思ったことがあるんですね。そういう意味でそれを十分やらなかったわけですけれども、この人はそれやってしまったんです。すごい大先輩とも言える人なんで、ぜひ今日はもう楽しみにして訪れたいと思っております。
オークランドの北、いわゆるノースランド地方にあるここトゥトゥカカは、きれいな海と豊かな緑に囲まれてリゾートライフを楽しむ人々の別荘地としても知られています。ドークさんの自宅はこのトゥトゥカカの沿岸、自然林のある山の中にあります。もともと羊の放牧地だったこの山を買い取り、13年間をかけてこの自然林を再生しました。広さ約44エーカーもあるこの土地には、季節を問わず多くのフルーツが実り、数千種に及ぶ植物が生い茂っています。本来自然の森林はさまざまな種類の植物が生育している状態が最良であり、健全な生態系が維持できるとドークさんは言います。早速この自然林を紹介してもらうことにしました。
Up here we've got a very big tree. Yeah. So that one's just a young one, about 100, but they can live for 4,000 years. 4,000 years for that tree. Yes. It's a very strong tree.
面白いですね、木が。
Okay.
Is that passion fruit?
Yes. Split it open, and it's like an orange inside.
Oh.
And,
Beautiful.
yes.
Nice, yeah. うまいよこれ。この種を食うんだよ。
Good one.
You told me
The sunlight here.
Rapers?
Show you an apple tree.
Yeah. Okay. Very hard.
Very hard.
Yeah, like a
Proof against
walnuts,
rats.
yeah?
Yeah. Stronger than walnuts. But that stops the rats from getting at them. Good protection. So they're protected with two skins. They have a beautiful flower with tremendous fragrance.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, beautiful flower. No one talks about the fragrance. They only talk about the food. But I love the flower.
素晴らしい匂いがするんだって、これ花が綺麗な花咲いて。こういう生活をしてて、どのように変えてきて、どのように自分の生活が変わったか、その辺の効果っていうかね、このいう生活の効果についてお伺いしたいと思います。
We've been living here, my wife and I, and our 2 children, for 13 years now. And there's a lot of physical work.
Yeah.
Keeps me very fit.
Yes.
We produce our own food. We have fruit all year round. And so our family are very healthy.
Yeah.
We don't get colds. We don't get so much illness as other people seem to have from eating food that's been sprayed. But I find that when I write books, and I find that the tranquility here, when I want some inspiration, when I need to have some new thoughts, I go for a walk in amongst my trees, and I find much inspiration that way. Our power supply comes from the wind. We live then with less power than most people, but we can still have a little television. We have the radio, we have the lights. Yes, yes, yes. And so those are the main things. And we heat our water with gas and sun. Sunshine makes our shower, and solar shower.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So that we feel that with 5 billion people on this planet, and the problems that we're having with pollution, with global warming, with nuclear power, like Chernobyl, that we have to look for safe forms of energy, and we perhaps don't need to use so much.
自然のね生態系というかシステムはね結局いろんな個性が共存し合ってお互いに助け合ってこうできてるわけですね。だからその人間がより生産性を高めるためにモノカルチャーといって一つのものだけを例えば杉なら杉ばっかり植えるとかねそういうあるいはもう一つの魚だけを養殖するとかね僕はねここ来てね感じたんですよ。非常に複雑にな、個性が入り組んで一つの世界ができてると。彼はこういう生活にたどり着いたねその経緯というかきっかけになったのは一体どういうことなのかそのあたりをお伺いしたいと思うんです。
Well, my inspiration came from traveling in the South Pacific, very worried about the future of humans, because everywhere I see no fish, all the forests cut down, just monoculture, monoculture.
Yes.
And then I went to one little atoll north of the Solomons where the people had lived for 800 years and they still had plenty of fish. So I tried to discover why, and I found the secret. And that secret to me is so important that everybody on the planet should know their secret. Simply this, that they have a coral reef which has so much diversity of life, and they use special methods for each type of fish. They don't use nets and catch them all. They just take this one with that method, this one with that method, this one with that method. And that means that they can live there forever. Now, when I came back to New Zealand, that inspired me. So I bought this piece of land, which was just a sheep paddock, no trees. And I started to plant trees everywhere, banana trees, fruit trees, nut trees, timber trees, everything that I can find. And I try to copy the pattern of life on the coral reef or the pattern of life in the native forest in New Zealand. And I'm finding now that it really works. I don't have to put poison sprays on the fruit because the birds control. There's enough food for the birds all year round with the different flowers and fruit that they can be there to control the bad pests when they come.
That's great.
Like Japan, New Zealand is an island, and since the Europeans have come here, we've cut down so much of the forest to have more sheep paddocks. But the world doesn't want all our sheep. There's too much sheep in the world now. And what we really need is to have the forest back. We should protect all the native forest that's left. At the moment, we're cutting it down in the South Island to turn into wood pulp to send to Japan for paper. But if we can plant other trees for paper, we don't need to cut down the native trees anymore. And we should be planting all sorts of different useful trees, each one for a specific job. One tree very good for making yachts, another tree for furniture,
Yes.
trees that make floors for houses, others that make doors.
Yes.
And that way we don't have a monoculture, and we have a much more healthy ecosystem. We don't have the diseases, we don't have to use poisons. So I think that's the future.
非常に大事なことですよね。それで、だからその時に生産性という面からするとね、現代近代の生産性ということからするとなんか非常に今聞いておられてね、そんなんで生産性が上がらないと思われるかもしれませんが、しかしこれからの21世紀の社会を考えるとね、その中に新しい答えを見出していくしかないと思うんですよね。だからもう一度私たちは自然から学ぶっていうことが今すごく重要だと思うんですね。ですから彼がこの学んだこの陸のことを海から学んだと彼は言いましたよね。その海についてですね、これからさらに詳しくお伺いしていきたいと思ってるんですよね。
トゥトゥカカの沖合にあるプアナイツ島。森の生態系に対し独自の考え方を持つドークさんは、この島からも多くのことを学んだのです。ニュージーランドの北ノースランド地方にあるトゥトゥカカには今も多くの自然が残されています。このトゥトゥカカに住むドークさんは森の生態系に対し独自の考えを持っていますが、その考えの元ともなったのはトゥトゥカカ近海の島プアナイツ島なのです。プアナイツ島はトゥトゥカカの沖合21キロ。この地域は国から保護区に指定され、その姿は変わることなく昔のままに残されています。島には多くの奇岩や自然侵食によってできた洞窟が至る所にあり、訪れる人々の目を楽しませてくれます。そしてまたこの島には健全な生態系が維持されていると彼は嬉しそうに話します。
陸のその植物が非常に、あるいは動物が海の動物や植物と似てると。だからその陸と海をですね、この食物連鎖とか、あるいはその植物と動物の関係とか、そういうものをそっくり自分の庭に海を移したというか、そういうことを試みてきて非常に成功してる人ですね。要するにその彼のもうその知識の元になっているその海ですね。その辺この海についてここもう30年潜っているそうですが、その海についてのその特徴というか、そういうことをお伺いしたいという思うんですけども。
I call these the islands of friendly fishes, because there are many fishes here. This place is a reserve, protected areas, no fishing in some places, restricted fishing in other places. So there are many fishes, and they are more friendly than on a coral reef in the tropics. We've discovered that the fishes are much more clever than people think, that fishes have good memories, that in one community like here, all the fishes know each other individually. Yes, they have memory. They know all their own species, but they also know all the other species. If a strange fish comes to the area, he gets chased away. And then we discovered how they do it. Yes, it's like a community. It's like a city, like Tokyo. The fishes have different patterns on them. We discovered that if a fish has a spot on its side, every fish, the spot is a little bit different. It's like the code on a bank check, or the barcode on your groceries at the supermarket. Every fish has got a different pattern, so they all know each other, I've studied all the fishes, and then I studied all the life forms on the cliffs,
Yes.
the invertebrate life forms, and I came to understand that these islands are a complete ecosystem.
Ecosystem.
Yes, and the main source of energy for this ecosystem is the plankton.
Oh.
The tiny little particles of plankton that come from the north on a warm current from the tropics, coming down all the time along the walls of the island. There are a lot of fishes that stay in the cave during the day, and they come out and feed on the plankton at night. So that's the night shift. This is like the city of Tokyo. There are some people that work during the day, sleep at night, and some people that work at night, and sleep during the day. The fishes are the same.
24
Because
hours.
the plankton's coming past all the time.
Yeah.
So the fishes that sleep during the day in the caves, they have very big eyes. Some of them we call big eye. And they have special big eyes so they can actually see the plankton just by the starlight. Very good vision.
Wow.
They just swim around, they look up at the surface and
If
they
I
see
am
the
fish,
plankton.
I'm so happy. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a very complicated world. But what is special about the poor nights for me is that I've been to many islands, but these islands are like a city with so many caves, so many tunnels, so many archways, galleries, shopping malls. It's just like being in a city. And there are some very special places. When I walk in the forest, I see the forest depends on having many different sorts of trees.
Yes.
And that makes a healthy forest, not a monoculture.
Yes.
The same under the sea. Many different life forms on the cliffs and many different fishes. That makes a very healthy ecosystem.
Oh, yes.
If we do the wrong things, we destroy that, and then we have a monoculture, and it's not healthy.
まるで鳥たちや魚たちが都市生活を楽しんでるようだと、この陸と水の中の世界をね見てると。それに彼は取りつかれていったと言いますが、それはどうしてそういうのはこんな長く保護されてきたか、彼が潜ってきたからだけじゃないと思うんですね。何かそういう保護の手が差し伸べられてきたと思う。その辺をぜひ教えてください。
These islands are a marine reserve underwater. All the reef fishes are protected from fishing. People can still, in some areas, they can still catch game fish with trolling or rod, but not on the bottom, no fishing on the bottom. On the top of the island, in the forest, the island is protected too. It's a sanctuary. Nobody is allowed to go on the island without a special permit and a government guide to look after the island when they're there, and so the whole place, the whole ecosystem is protected. Very important for New Zealand to protect these special places.
海の生態系っていうのは非常に潜ってみるとよくわかるんですが、大変たくさんなねサンゴとかいろいろな生物がお互いに寄り添って生かし合ってるっていう感じですよね。で森も同じように、山の生態系も同じようにいろんな生物がお互いに個性を発揮して、共存してるわけです。ところがですね、そういう素晴らしい森が、彼の隣にあったわけですが、先だって売りに出まして新しく買った人がみんなカットして芝生植えちゃったわけですね。21世紀の社会を考えるとどっちがいいか当然答えが出てくるんじゃないかと思うんですね。でそういった問題も含めてですね、彼が一体日本の人やね、あるいはこれからの人間、これからの若者たち、あるいはビジネスマンに何か言いたいことがあったらですね、ぜひ言ってもらいたいと思います。
New Zealand and Japan, we are twin countries. We are both islands. In Japan, there are many more people, so there are more problems. We have many of the same problems here developing in New Zealand. I think the old Japanese people, the old farmers, they knew the same secrets that I discovered in the Solomon Islands. The old fishermen for hundreds of years in Japan must have known how to catch fish without destroying the ecosystem. That perhaps we have to step aside from history and just say, we went too fast, we made some mistakes, and now we can help each other. If Japanese people come to New Zealand, perhaps they can see some inspirations for a country that is younger. We haven't quite made so many mistakes yet. We're not perfect by any means. And if we go to Japan, if New Zealanders go to Japan, I think we can learn from the Japanese many things too. I think that the Japanese businessmen who have decided to produce green technology will be very important for the future of the planet. When Japanese technology turns to making windmills, they'll make better ones than mine. They'll make big windmills.
They have a lot of nice technology.
Yes, and we can go to the moon and back, human beings. So we can find green energy. We don't have to have nuclear energy. We can make electricity straight from the sun.
Yes.
We can even make electricity from the stars at night, from infrared. So I feel that Japanese technology, when it turns to green problems, will provide, in conjunction with American technology and European, we're one planet, just one small island in space. And I think that the answers for our future come from joining together. And so the Japanese people and New Zealand people are twin people. We live on islands and we have a lot to share.
Yes. 何しろ非常に嬉しい話をしてくれましたけども、何しろ日本の高度な技術、アメリカの技術、ニュージーランドの技術、世界も一つの地球一つになってですね、何しろこれからの今の問題を解決していこうじゃないかと。だからこれからの地球の問題を解決していくには自然だけに任せるじゃもう難しくて、非常に科学の力が必要だ。確かにそう思います。僕はですね、ここに来て非常に思い出しました。僕の小さい時、私の京都の家の裏には大きい庭があったんですね。そこにいっぱい木を植えてね、作物を植えてトマトを作って、ナスビを作って自分で食べてました。ところがお父さんがどんどん工場なんか私郷土宮ですから工場を拡張するんだっつって私の庭を全部工場にしてしまいました。それ以来忘れてたことがですね、今すごく蘇ってきたような気がしますね。やっぱりなんか僕もやりたいなというふうにちょっと思ってきました。でちょっと遅いかもしれませんが、何かちょっとチョイスを変えてみたいというすごい強い刺激を受けまして、ここに来て本当に彼が13年、こういう生活を通してですね実証してみせたこと、これは大変偉大なことだと思います。私たちは本当に彼の実行からですね多くの言葉の間にある非常に大切なものを学んだんじゃないかと思います。